Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions, this time for Dana White's Contender Series, with your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
the Guru, back again for Dana White's Contender Series, Week 2, Season 6. Listen, guys, right? We weren't sure we'd be back, but profitable week last week. We're going to keep it rolling again here. How could we not with this?
not too shabby.
Yeah, listen, not too shabby. We'll take it like we said, and we're sticking to it. These units we play are literally halved. So whatever your normal unit is, at least that are your normal unit, let's say it's $20. All our plays are, a unit's $10 for us in this stuff. So we're keeping it light, keeping it sharp. It's the best way to do it because we're having a good time. And that's always most important. But listen, Charlie Campbell, right? I mean, that guy is a fucking stud. Close to me in the respect that, and maybe even TB, right? I got to see him live twice, CFFC 104 and CFFC 107. So when I was looking into handicapping this fight, I really wanted to make sure I did my due diligence. What up, Daz? And I just wanted to make sure because I didn't want to be rooting for my guy too prematurely, too unnecessarily. But he's the real deal, man. I mean, he really truly is. 4 KOs, right? Orthodox stance, good bit of footwork. All right. He's a powerful, well-varied striker. All right. He loves to mix it up. It's extremely impressive. Solid grappling as well. Patient, measured, good cardio, decent takedown defense. I mean, the holes are kind of hard to find. And that's the kind of stuff that you see on these really good regional circuits like CFFC, these well-rounded guys. I would say some of maybe the negatives, right? He can maybe overswing at times and would maybe throw some unnecessary spinning attacks, right? And give up his back, which he did in CFFC 107. But I felt maybe that he felt like safe in the grappling and was kind of just going for a little bit more of a highlight. But something you got to be aware of in those moments, especially with with their scouting. But somebody who's 3-0 in CFFC, 1-0 in Bellator, a 5-0 amateur record before that. Dude's a freaking stud, and he's fighting somebody in Chris Duncan, who you may or may not recognize. TB, he actually lost to Slava Claus on Dana White Contender Series last year.
Ooh, that's right. That's right. I do remember watching that fight last time and seeing Duncan. There were moments where he's able to land the takedown. He's able to get but as we learn, it's like to land the takedown on Slava isn't the impressive part because that comes like butter. But whereas to actually hold him down and to be able to do other stuff like that does require like the next level of like wrestling and grappling skill. The same thing goes for Charlie Campbell here. I mean, maybe down the line here, we'll see, Charlie Campbell might be one of those guys you want to fade coming off Contender Series down the line in the UFC. But right now, just looking at this coming in, I mean, Chris Duncan making his second appearance on Contender Series, and I just thought, he was a bit too hittable. Slava's going to do that to you, but yeah, I just thought he didn't show the defensive skills that you'd like to see. Whereas Campbell, I think he shows a much more well-rounded skill set. And I think that he is the much more dangerous grappler or striker. No matter where this fight ends up, I think Campbell should have an advantage. The only thing I do get worried about is there are times where Campbell has shown to like start off a little slower, face a little adversity. But he has shown to turn the tables, and he fights out of a great gym, great training partners, Longo Wyman MMA. I'm going to ride here with Campbell. You see the line is currently we got minus 145 and plus 125 on Chris Duncan coming back. So Charlie Campbell, that'll end up being something straight that we want to do. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so. I really like the guy. I really expect him to get signed here. Last week I said that I know a bunch, but Dana White literally made a point last week with the decisions, and he's like, not on this show. And, on the first week, he really was granted that opportunity to set the tone. And, I think somebody like Charlie is going to come out here and get it done. So not only do I want to bet Charlie, I would reach into grandma's couch cushions and bet this fight not to go the distance as well.
Ooh.
Or even if you really like Charlie, which I do, Charlie by finish. I
Yeah,
expect him to pour it on. Listen, this guy, we haven't seen much of Chris Duncan. Okay, he looks halfway decent in that first round versus Slava, but Slava's piecing him up, right? He follows his opponent, has poor head movement, and like is slower than you want to see, right? And those are three things right there that you don't want to be versus a savage like Charlie Campbell. So, like,
yeah.
not only that, he got slept so freaking badly by Slava Claus guys. Like, I don't even like I don't know how he competed 4 months later to a decision win against Jonathan Carlos, and that's it. That's his fight. Like he hasn't fought since. It's now been another 6 months and he hasn't fought. I assume he was hoping to get this shot. So he got it, and now here it is. It's against Charlie fucking Campbell. I don't think he's getting it done. So I like Charlie.
Yeah, and to that point, as Daz says, TKO round 2 for Charlie on his notes. Money line seems okay. He's got the -160. We're still here on DraftKings. We got a -145. So I pulled up our Bet MMA page. So as you can see there, we got Charlie Campbell versus Chris Duncan. Let me zoom in for you. We're gonna lay
2 inches of height for Charlie and a half inch of reach as well as being
Yeah.
2 years young, as well as being 2 years younger.
Well, isn't that spicy?
And arguably still having the better level of experience, because even though, he fought Slava Claus, which is the best competition that either of them has faced for sure, the overall level of competition in CFFC is higher than what Chris has been facing.
Yeah, I think Guru puts it well. So we're going to lay this right now up on Bet MMA here. We got Charlie Campbell -145. We're going to lay 0.725 to win 0.5.
Right. So, guys, like we said, usually this would be, if this was UFC, right, we would lay that 1.5 to win 1. That's kind of our usual thing around here, but this is Dana White Contender Series.
So should we just lay 0.75 instead of 0.725? We'll win a little bit more than a half a unit.
Sure. It's fine.
Yeah. It's just to be a little cleaner. So
that's cool. I like
you guys are seeing how the pork is made back here now.
There you go. All right.
Sausage, how the sausage, right? So great. Yeah, there we go. So there's
sausage hot dog.
Yeah, there's one of our money line plays, and we are gonna hop off that fight. And that's gonna make us move right down to our next fight of the night. We had Shannon Ross versus Vinicius Salvador. This fight should be explosive.
Hang on. So the last fight I fucked up. The last fight is the Cannibal versus the Problem. This fight is the Turkish Delight versus Fenomeno. So that's pretty cool too.
Fenomeno.
Turkish Delight, man.
Do you know what fenomeno means?
Phenomenal?
I don't know.
Fantastic?
Probably the phenomenon.
Or or that too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, yeah. Here we go. You see, we got Shannon Ross versus Vinicius Salvador. This fight, you got Ross at -240 and Salvador +200. You flip on the tape, and I'm kind of understanding why they might be doing those things.
TB, let me start, and then I'll let you kind of like clean up, because you read this pretty well, I thought. What I saw from Vinicius was somebody that is extremely wild and unpredictable, like a legitimate crazy man, like wild winging punches, was just like running around instead of actually having striking defense. He almost did like that Anderson Silva, Nick Diaz thing, where like he ran to the corner of the cage and like is pointing to him at the cage to come strike with him against the cage. Like, he's a fucking psychopath. And he's honestly, like, he keeps his hands down really low. He's extremely reckless. He's got questionable takedown defense. I watched him spend an entire fucking round of a fight on his back and do nothing to get up. And I don't even like, and then lost this. It was just, man, he's just really, really poor. And you look on the other side, and Shannon Ross, who may be a little bit smaller, like even for the division, which is kind of crazy, just because it looks like a tiny guy. But I mean, he packs a lot of punch. He's just like a lot of power, very tough, man. Comfortable switching stances, smashing leg kick, nice 1-2, the nice hooks, just well-rounded. So, like you were saying, I can kind of see where, he's faced a high level of competition as well. Whereas this guy, Vinicius, I don't know who he's fighting.
Yeah, so I was very impressed when I turned on the tape for Shannon Ross. I was like, oh man, like this guy's willing to do what it takes to get the victory. Does it mean dirty clinching up on the fence and using some elbows and just kind of controlling and getting those damaging strikes off? Yeah, he'll do that. Shannon Ross, will he also go for a takedown when he needs to? Sure thing, he'll do that too. But also when he's from distance, like he can put on an aggressive pace and really go for it when he needs to. You see it evidenced by his 5 decision wins that he's willing to go the distance when necessary, but 7 knockouts, yeah, that's explosive as well. He's got a nice level of experience fighting against Steve Erceg. He was 5-1 when they fought, now 8-1, and that submission loss, he was looking pretty good early in that fight. Shannon Ross is, putting on a little bit of a pace. He's able to land some big strikes on Erceg, but, he's outsized considerably, and Erceg's got, as we see, a lot of talent. He might be on our radar soon as well. So we see him get clipped, and then
he's had 2 wins since that beating Shannon Ross here. So I would hope to see him soon.
Yeah, and you see, Ross gets clipped, but he's not immediately submitted. He's fighting for a while until the hooks get in. He goes to turn out, gives up at his back officially, and end of story by that point. But it took a solid minute and a half after he got clipped for all that to happen. So I was impressed with the survivability. I think he does have a chin there, and I think against Vinicius Salvador, what we've seen is like a guy that's willing to play around and have a little bit too much fun in there. And that's great. He is extremely talented. I do think he's live for a knockout here too. Ross isn't beyond getting finished any which way or losing any which way, but I just think it's a step up as far as it goes overall, as far as talent and fight IQ. I don't know how many guys are out there willing to really clinch and do the dirty work against Salvador, because a lot of guys think, oh man, this guy's wild. I'll just fight an orthodox game plan and finish him. Or a lot of guys just fighting on the feet, especially on the regional scene. But Ross is not one of those guys that's just going to play around. He will do what it takes. So I do at the end trust him at the -240. So he'll be the first leg of a parlay. No need to go running off to bet MMA tips yet. But -240, we'll plug that in for the first line.
Yeah, absolutely. Salvador. Shannon seems like a very, very safe piece to play this week. If you're gonna be on Salvador, you don't even play the dog price. You just play him by KO because that's his only way to win. And
then here we go.
Let's move on.
Yeah, for sure. We got our next fight here. We got Francis Marshall versus Connor Matthews, the controller,
which is the closest fight of the whole card, by the way, line wise.
Interesting enough, you see Marshall -120 and Matthews at +100. So we got some work to do here. Let's get down into it. We see Connor Matthews. He's a guy that, man, I would say he's a little bit more on the more explosive side compared to what Marshall's going to give you. I think Marshall's bread and butter is just being overall solid, whether it comes to, a solid 1-2 in his boxing attack, decent footwork, really good level changes, timing, kind of waiting for his opponents to step in. But, yeah, I'm thinking, oh boy, Francis Marshall just doesn't really stand out on paper or really on tape in any which way offensively from a danger standpoint. I think he's really solid all around. And then defensively, man, I'm just not really impressed. I think Marshall's got a lot to work on in that regard. Whereas Matthews, I think maybe, even the same things defensively, and even sitting in the guard of Jay Ellis. You see him kind of struggle a bit with the jiu-jitsu for a while, and then, yeah, there it goes. But
could just be playing safe against a tough wily vet.
Yeah, Jay but Ellis. Out of Lausanne MMA, he's got a good
Boston
team.
Strong.
Boston Strong working on that. The controller. He's looking to wrestle. He's looking to be explosive, and it just so happens all the guys he's faced so far, he's finished within 1 minute, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I believe he's the controller because he's a former U.S. Air Force combat controller. So thank you for your service, Connor.
Yeah. Well. Oh wow. Thank you for your service, man. I didn't even realize that. Bad research on TV's part.
Yeah. But seriously,
You
Connor
were just
Matthews,
serious.
yeah, I was just serious, but even continuing on that serious note, I agree. Ross looks like the better fighter, but I'm hoping Dana's message from last week's. Yeah, that's very true. Thank you for chiming in, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you.
I the thing with Connor, and now you start to see that line trickle, because before it was even money or minus 120, minus 110. Now you can get that plus money on Connor Matthews. To me at weigh-ins, I actually really liked how Connor looked a little bit better to me. He looked a little bit thicker to me. He's a couple years older, right? 30 years old. And you can just tell Francis Marshall's a young kid, probably 24 would be my guess. 23 and a half, 24 exactly. And he's actually, shout out Francis, he's from Belmar, New Jersey, so a local guy to us. Yeah, very well rounded. I just thought that the thing that's interesting, of course, Connor Matthews has all 4 of his sub wins, 3 of them by rear naked choke, 1 by neck crank. All of them, like the rear naked choke was in under 3 minutes, and all the rear naked chokes were in under a minute. His KO was a 7-second in his 7-second debut. I mean, the dude has barely fought, and he's been dominant. It's crazy, and it's really exciting to see him face somebody like Francis here, who's won his fights fairly dominantly as well. That Ray Trujillo fight was certainly interesting, right? TV Trujillo. Thank you. You want to talk about that for a sec?
I thought. Yeah, so that was kind of where Francis Mitchell sketched me out a little bit. I was impressed with his offensive wrestling.
Yeah.
And I thought he did well to control and kind of grind out over, I mean, someone that he should have been beating. But Trujillo is landing in the stand-up significantly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of thought that the holes that we saw there were kind of enough to let me take a chance on this really explosive guy in Connor Matthews, that maybe he can exploit one of those holes even fairly quickly and get it done. So maybe the fight doesn't go the distance as well. It could be.
I like that. Play. I would take Matthews plus 100. Are we laying that on stream for everyone?
Yeah, that's like a grandma's couch cushion play. So I'm down for, like, literally. I mean, it would be.
We had a 0.25.
Yeah,
all right. The idea.
You want to do that?
Well, our other 2 plays are 0.75, and we're gonna have a 0.5er. So this would be our smallest play of the night.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. This is the most civil you guys will see us talking about any bets.
That is
true. We're on our best behavior for you guys. There's usually a lot more name calling involved.
Come Wednesday, though. Come Wednesday, we got some fire.
Baby.
We got some heat.
All right.
Coming.
So once again, you guys are kind of seeing, behind the scenes here. So we got our DraftKings line. We got a quarter unit going out. Connor Matthews plus 100. If anyone was ever interested in starting to track their bets on Bet MMA, this is like your little lesson and like learning course. Like I'm walking you through it, guys. It's not too hard.
Andre Arlovsky is going to fight Rogerio de Lima October 29th.
Who's that guy that does like the painting and is like, what is it, Bob Ross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like the Bob Ross of teaching people Bet MMA tips, like calm, soothing. We'll figure it out together, guys. It'll be great.
No. Everybody loves Bob Ross. That's the difference.
Yeah. Oh, no. Everybody loves the guru.
Everybody loves the guru.
Yeah, that's what we have to tell Guru every now and again to make sure he doesn't back out of the podcast.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Everybody literally loves the Guru more than TB. It's very sad. Anyways, so we're on to our next fight here. We got Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Danilo Suzart. Oh man, we got a big boy versus a little boy, but they're both big boys.
Dude, so when I saw this fight being lined up, like, I was like, dude, 6'4", 80-inch reach. Damn, that's big boy. And then I'm like, Danilo's 6 foot. I'm like, and then I'm watching him fight, and he's short and fat. And I'm like, oh shit. Hang on, Anthony. Anthony said Marshall seems too confident in his level of competition. I like Connor's willingness to engage. Not his fault. He's crushing. Yeah. It's interesting. It's cans fans. That's fair. It's definitely interesting. Bob Ross is a gem. It's a close fight, man. It's gonna be sketchy. We need some dogs though. I'm honestly, we're picking a fair amount of favorites. I'd be surprised if they all win at the end of the day, because it's Dana White Contender Series. There, it gets sketchy out there. But as we break down this fight, Danilo is so tiny compared to this guy Waldo. It's the opposite of where's Waldo. If you can't find Waldo this time, you're probably blind because Waldo's fucking massive. Like, you're not missing Waldo.
Nice
he's good. Thank you. And he's good. You know, he's an LFA fighter. He's a LFA champion, right? He won the heavyweight title as the underdog. Round 3 TKO. Looked fairly good, honestly, against a guy in Mitchell. He outlasted Mitchell, I believe, in that fight. Right, TB? Did you watch that one?
Yeah. It was that you're talking about the Suzart
Thomas,
fight?
I said Mitchell. I said he reminded me of the guy from Tough. He outlasted Thomas. He outlasted Thomas Peterson. So Thomas Peterson was grinding him out a little bit, and he ended up coming back and knocking him out in that third.
Yeah. So ultimately, I thought
he has the worst takedown defense you've ever seen in your life. But he does a good job getting back up.
Right, but Danilo's not going to come in looking for
right.
Any sort
No,
of
I'm just breaking down the damn fight I watched. Damn.
No, for sure. So I'm saying I totally get it. Listen, this is like auto fade once he. Oh wait, spoiler alert! Once Waldo wins his Contender Series fight, he'll be an immediate fade prospect. You know, like
because his takedown defense is really, really suspect.
And he's only one strike at a time.
Right, one strike at a time. Quick hands. You know, likes to use the calf kick to find the range. Yeah, the way he won, like I said, he had more cardio. And Thomas was just not able to keep it going, and he just ran out of steam, and he put him down. And I was like, oh geez, I'm kind of ready to fade Waldo here. And then I was like, okay, but this guy's gonna be so much smaller. And then I watched him, and he's so bad. He's got wild looping strikes, his own questionable takedown defense, his own questionable get up game in jiu-jitsu, his own questionable urgency to get back up. He gets rocked.
Yeah,
slow. He tracks down his opponents, but then lets him off the hook. He only throws a couple strikes at a time. Even though he won the Aries FC heavyweight title as an underdog as well, interestingly enough, he won it by majority decision in one of the funniest, craziest, sloppiest fights you're ever gonna watch. It was really. Honestly, a joy to watch. I was watching it today. He was fighting Benjamin Seklik, and man, that was an interesting one. So, if anybody's got a spare 15 minutes, I didn't get to see what Anthony was writing. Was it Anthony? Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. Acosta's boxing record was really suspect as well. I mean, he's a 4-3 pro boxer. Obviously, decided to not stick at it with the boxing.
Well, I can see why he would go to MMA. I mean, he's got the size and the frame, and I mean, he showed the ability to get into the clinch, to get on top and put a guy on the mat and control him, and then land some knees on the get up, finish out the round strong, and come out the next round and just finish him. You know, so I've seen Acosta even go after the type of weaknesses that Suzart has. I haven't seen Suzart go for any type of wrestling or anything like that. And like you're talking about, it's all winging punches, stuff like that. And thank you, Anthony W. We appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, I do, man. And I honestly expect Waldo to have the better cardio here, which is going to be important. And then I forgot what the other thing I wanted to say. Fuck, I hate when that happens.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what I wanted to say. Fuck.
Real nice. It's all good, man. Well, hey, listen, I'm gonna go ahead over to Bet MMA.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start loading in a parlay that we already started with. So Shannon Ross was a -240. We pick fighter A, Shannon Ross, and we will submit. So that'll add our first leg because we're doing just a straight fight pick parlay. So in our second piece that we got here is going to be Waldo Cortes-Acosta.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to say.
All right, well, hold on one second.
I remember what I wanted to say.
You could be patient now that we are doing slightly something different.
You do it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Boom. Okay, so now we've loaded 2 legs of the parlay. We're at -120. And Guru, what did you remember?
Well, what I wanted to say was I wanted to go back to the boxing thing. So he takes his first pro MMA fight in May of 2018 and then decides to go straight in with the boxing. Has 7 boxing bouts, right? All between 2018 and 2021. And then when he decides he's done with boxing, July 2021, he has his second pro MMA fight. So he has a first pro MMA fight, a whole boxing career, kind of decides to shelf that up, and then has his second pro MMA fight. And now, obviously, here he is, Dana White Contender Series, and very possibly going to win and get a contract.
Yeah, man, I guess ultimately, Cortes-Acosta going to be another parlay. There goes the dog.
Bogey.
He was peaceful for the first 25 minutes. Something's outside. It's okay,
you
buddy.
Tell him, Skater. You tell him.
Go ahead, buddy. Maybe I'm getting robbed and I'm just like on a podcast instead of checking out if I'm getting robbed.
Do you want to?
Nah, we're good. No one's in our house. Don't worry. We're all good.
No, I didn't mean the robbery. I meant the barking dog.
Nah, he's fine.
Okay.
So
everybody loves a barking dog.
Yeah, he just chilled out. We're good. So anyways, we're on to Billy Gough versus Shimon Smotritsky. This fight, we are looking at a -195 Goff, where he opened as like a -2 something favorite, and Smotritsky coming back +165 now. Looking at their face-off, I mean, I got a little bit sketched out there. Goff is significantly smaller than Simatrinsky, but lower level. If the skill is there for Goff, which it seemed to be on tape.
Oh yeah,
and I'll let Guru kind of take it away, but that's kind of what I noticed originally. So
I was just I was just, when he's realized he's not going to be boxing. Yeah, no, you're right. I think you're right. I think he was going to go back to the other fight. I think he was doing MMA. He's like, oh, maybe I can do boxing instead. Tries to, and then couldn't really get it done. And now he's like, you know what? Maybe MMA is where I belong. What up,
Mushroom?
Anthony, make good points, bud. But no, exactly. That is why I do like Acosta here. But in this fight, I was so incredibly impressed with Billy Goff, man. Somebody that looks extremely well-rounded. What's up, Bleed? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
He's Billy seems to have very solid boxing and wrestling. He's super tough. He's got a good defensive guard. What I'd love to see is that he was catching kicks, and then not only catching kicks, then he throws his own leg kick against the one standing leg, dumps you, gets right into like side control or mount. Like, he's not fucking around. He really is. He's technical. He's well-rounded. And he did something insanely impressive in that he's like a multiple champion, right? He it was just crazy. So he wins the welterweight title, right? So he wins. Let me get this right. In November 2021, he wins the Cage Titans welterweight title. Okay. Then in March 2022, he wins the CES welterweight title. And if you know either thing if you've ever even heard of those promotions before, these are not scrub promotions. These are good promotions. So he wins the welterweight title in March of this year. Within 30 days, because he knocks the guy out so fast and wins the welterweight title, he goes up to middleweight, faces a guy that's more veteran than him, bigger than him, longer than him. He comes in under the middleweight limit, gets a tough first round, starts the round on the feet, gets taken down, starts to really brutalize with elbows, but weathers the storm. And then comes back in the second round and finishes the fight with his own elbows to become the middleweight title challenger as champion as well. So he wins 2 titles in a month, 3 titles total, and his 3 titles in his last 3 fights at 24 years old. And is coming in here against Simon, who's already had his chance against Mike Malott, got dealt with very quickly and has since only fought William Macario, who is a UFC veteran. So I get why that kind of win maybe puts you in a better light after a loss to get you back to this spot. But, only competing once since October of last year against a guy that's, was, not very good anymore, and wasn't good, wasn't great when he was in the UFC, had a tough run, but not much to be gained there. So, I mean, could Simon be live for I don't know, maybe a knockout, I guess, but that would really surprise me. I'm really impressed with Billy here. I do expect him to get it done, and he looked great at weigh-ins today too. No,
Yeah, he looked jacked and shredded. He just looked mad short next to Simatrinsky, but
right?
he looked a lot
He can,
thicker.
but he can also wrestle. Whereas I don't believe Simone that's his Shimon. I don't think that's his way of doing things.
His one career loss by submission against, like you talked about, Mike Malott. But
that happened very quickly.
The line is now moved to Goff minus 195.
Oh,
so as we talked about earlier, now our parlay is we add in a minus 195 instead of a minus 240. Was it earlier?
Yeah,
and we're looking at a plus 177.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge.
So is that still a half unit that we were looking at?
I mean, you want less on it or
no? I was just saying
more,
pretty sweet.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
All right, so I was just kind of like reinforcing whatever and just bring. I mean, I still wanted that.
Yeah, as much as we love doing this show now and capping these fights, it would be disingenuous to say that we could have the same level of confidence as we do in UFC bets. As it is, if anybody listens to the show, we don't sell used cars. So, we don't this is the best car you ever drove in your life. This is the easiest bet you'll ever bet in your life. Like we're honest here.
Yeah, so here we go. This is our final card and what it's looking like. I feel you, Guru. It hits home. I don't want to deal with used car salesmen.
Fuck you, man.
But here's our third party track, and this is where you can see our honesty and where we're through and through. So we're just gonna walk you through a few things. We got Campbell minus 145, 0.75 units to win 0.5. We got Connor Matthews plus 100, quarter unit. And we have our parlay, Ross to win, Cortes-Acosta to win, and Goff to win, half unit plus 177. Here's a little sneak peek. You'll see on Wednesday coming up, but we got a couple plays here. This is what you get for joining us on our Contender Series show. So I hope you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you're following us. We just broke 200 subscribers. You guys are the best. So really appreciate you guys. Make sure you shout us out in the chat what your favorite bet is for this week coming up. We appreciate you all. So for all that, we got Pantoja Hill. So we had Pantoja last weekend. We got Jamal Hill coming up this weekend. And to that effect, we also got Spivak going. So come join us on Wednesday, 9 p.m. We'll be breaking down UFC Vegas, Santos versus Hill. That's going to be great. And just real quick, we can just show you guys. Here you go. Last week.
Do you want to talk about our guest that we're going to have for Santos Hill or?
All right, well, hang tight. We'll get back there. Last week, 3.67 unit profit. We talked about MMA. They're going to be fixing something. They're going to be adding our special parlay onto the site officially, actually. So that's exciting because that semi bet loses, but because they don't have that bet on their that bet on their site, we end up not actually winning that unit. That should have been a loss. So
yeah, they'll fix that.
So yeah, he told me it'll be automatic. So 3.67 units last week. Contender Series, we profited 0.64. The week before that, we profited 1.75 units. The week before that, profited 1.63. The week before that, 1.11. The week before that, 6.49.
And you don't want to go any further than that.
Oh no! No! Why would you? Yeah. So hey, listen, guys, we're on a 5-event UFC streak, and then we are, no wolf tickets here. That's right, baby.
No wolf tickets. Very true. We no, none of that.
Yeah,
very true.
Just got to block the naked HDXYZ in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. All right, but anyways, hey, that's it. I think we've given you guys enough here. Dana White Contender Series, awesome shit. Had a great time. And Guru, why don't you go ahead and take us away here?
Take me away, that special place, that special place. The sweetest game. Take me away.
Take me away.
Yeah, guys, thanks for joining us.
Sorry about all that.
Make sure you join us on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be breaking down Thiago Santos versus Jamal Hill. We have special guest Dennis Bazookia joining us. We are very, very excited and honored and privileged to have him on. So we're looking forward to that.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna we continue this summer. Bangers only, you know what I'm saying? Bangers. And you know that low key thing, you know, that fucking PFL event that we're gonna be at. So make sure if you're there, pull up, say what up. Otherwise just stay tuned to our social medias and stuff because we'll be talking about it a bunch. So deuces.